Hey traders, welcome to wrap up of Wednesday, November 16th. So I started today with a bit of an undecided bias. When you look at the dailies charts, it's very much going sideways. It's forming a bit of a wedge, so it's sideways pattern. Some stage you guess it's got to break up or down, but at the moment very much starting the day is undecided. Pre-market had quite a fall during the European market, so whether that means anything, quite often the cash market when it opens, the banks and institutions can actually take it where they want it to, but the pre-market definitely has an influence. But on these undecided days, what I tend to think is you're going to most likely get two-sided action. So we saw, looking at the day, we actually moved up in the morning, and then we had a massive sell-off in the afternoon, and that's quite typical, of these kind of situations on the dailies. It's only when you're breaking resistance areas that you tend to have that one-sided action. So started the day undecided, but just knowing that we could go both ways. Okay, and you can see here at the open here, 9:30, we're kind of bouncing between power points, and that's kind of typical of an undecided day as well. The market itself trying to figure out which way it wants to go. The buyers and the sellers really having a tussle. Also, the gap is up there at that blue line as well, so that was always going to act as a magnet. So the chances are it's going to come up, at least close that gap, and then maybe decide what it wants to do from there. But from here, I guess you're looking for opportunities to try and get towards that gap. It's always tough to try and pick the right one. You can see it's bouncing between. At this point here, the predictive started to cross down, and then round here is this particular area here. This is when I thought the market started to show value, and the predictive was starting to cross up. At this point, the moving average was pointing up as well. So you got all the pressure to the buy side. So this particular one here, not the best one to go at, which was a bit extended, but what I was looking for was a pullback, maybe even a bit of a bigger pullback down around here, and then taking this power fade, because quite often this power fade lately here, this upper one here, that second one up, it's been having a bit of trouble, hasn't been working as well as it has in the past, but you can see this one did work really well. But ideally when I was looking at this particular market, I knew I wanted to buy around this area, but it kind of caught me unawares as I just wanted to, a bit more of a pullback here. But either way, this area very good value to head up towards the gap from anywhere up around through here. That's because the 5-minute charts are all pointing to the upside, and then from there you can see it busted up, pushed through quite a few power points, came just up to that gap there, which almost took us lunchtime, and then it started to pull away. Okay, so definitely buyers around at this stage. The market went a bit sideways through this lunch period. Right in the lunch period here, we got another 5-minute signal, so about 5-minute buy here. So this is a pretty good area, pretty good value. Even though the market is sideways, you've got to be asking yourself, is it likely that the market's going to come back and test those highs? And as soon as that 5-minute signal triggered to the long side, it brought a whole wave of 5-minute buyers and pushed the market straight up. And there was 2-3 points in that situation there. So that 5-minute there was probably the best value as far as getting on and trying to get the buyers as they head back towards making your highs or back to this gap area. Once it got up here and broke this gap, around this area here, you're probably looking for it either to keep pushing up and then get a bit of a pullback and then go again, or what actually happened, as you can see here. So rather than push up, you can see there, once they did close that gap, it never really wanted to push on it, and it really started to sell. So it started to sell off really quickly in the afternoon. Not a lot of opportunities because it just basically fell without any pullbacks. But what you've got to be kind of asking yourself is when we've had all these buyers, when all of a sudden does it switch to the downside? And you've got to look for price action to tell you that, and also look for it to break support and resistance areas. So this is a significant buyer's support area. So the fact the market's broken down quite easily through that, you then all of a sudden have to start looking to the sell side from here down. And then everything's pointing on the downside. Obviously by now with the 5-minute chart you've broken support, so this is an area where you start to look for sellers. Any of this area here, it's very sharply pushing down, and by now it's broken the cash market low. So no real opportunities there. Around this area here there is a pullback, and it's bounced off a power point. When watching the market live, it was still kind of tough. I like to try and pick it up with a swing on the predictives with the 5-minute chart or something like that, just to give it to make sure it's a solid area. So I guess this area here was a chance, but it's getting quite late in the afternoon, and it's also an area where maybe the buyers could come back in and rally towards the end of the day, but in the end it's pushed back off it and then pushed back down through some power points there as well. So overall, even though there's great movement there in that afternoon, very difficult to get on anything. I think the best opportunities were a couple of buy opportunities in the morning. That was that 5-minute buy there, even though it was during lunch, and then earlier on when it pushed up towards the gap here, when you get all the predictives pushing up there. Okay, just got the 5-minute chart up here. So a couple of opportunities throughout day 3. So we had this first one here, so you can see the predictives crossing down. So technically a sell signal, but the moving average is pointing up and showing overall, the direction is in the overall sense up, and we've got the gap which is up above here as well. So overall, you've got things there attracting to the market to the upside. So if anything, you take this as a buy. However, it was sitting down, out here at the lows, so it did have to do a lot of work for it to. If it did want to buy, you'd want a bit more evidence before taking this as a buy at this stage. So it would have got stopped out. But as soon as it came around here and the predictive crossed it up, even though there's no official signal here, but you can see the moving average still pointing up. This is the area I talked about on the 1-minute chart, how there's a power fade just in this area here, look to break up and push and make higher highs, which it did very easily, and then head up towards the gap. So I think the real value in this 5-minute chart was right here, and probably one of the better areas of the day to go up there and push up through the gap. We then had another signal here, so the market's pushed up, pulled back, and then another buy signal coming up here. So this is an ideal spot, and look for the market to go up and test its highs. So this one worked really quite well. The only thing holding that possibly could hold you back was the market did go quite sideways, and it was lunchtime. But as soon as we got that signal, it brought a wave of buyers, like I said on the 1-minute chart, and it pushed up. So overall, a good area. Just maybe a little bit tough, just because of the fact that there's a little bit of sideways movement there, but still good value area. One of those high percentage areas. Even if you did take it, you've got to ask yourself, what's more likely to happen, buy or sell? And it's definitely more likely to buy here, and had more chance of working than failing. So at the end of the day, not a bad area. And then again, another buy signal here. So just getting this one worked as well. But as you get more and more signals to the upside, you just figure there's less chance of it working as the market starts to get more and more extended. But overall, seemed like the buyers were still quite strong in this area. So not a bad opportunity as well here. And then you can see no more official signals from there, no real opportunities either. Even if you're looking at the predictives here, there's no chances, no pullbacks or anything on this downturn here. The market pushed down really hard and just gave no opportunity really to get on. So nothing really to take advantage of in the afternoon there. But that's a wrap up for Wednesday.